Hmm. Critic Hat. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Hey there. This is Aaron from the Horror Globe, and today I am doing The Shining. Probably the miniseries version. Because actually, the Doctor Sleep book just recently came out, which is the sequel to the original Shining. And of course, nobody on YouTube has been really looking at the miniseries. They usually look at the Kubrick version. Nostalgia Critic. Shining. Mini series. But I worked on that uh, a lot. I watched all of it painfully. And the original too. The Kubrick original in a row. And well then, anybody for Parcheesi? No. Well, damn it, a review still needs to be done, and let's do a serious comparison review. Stephen King's novel, The Shining, was probably, in my opinion, one of his best novels. One of the best things that he ever did. It was in like the golden age of the Stephen King era, when Salem's Lot, we had Carrie, we had like Pet Sematary. Pretty much Stephen King was batting on all cylinders with really creepy ass stuff that pretty much anybody could relate to. So seeing The Shining when I was a kid, like reading the book, I was excited to see the Kubrick movie. I was a huge fan of Stanley Kubrick, and I used to like to watch his movies, enjoy them, and deconstruct them, and go piece by piece and put them back together, and just see what I could find in the films. Watch them over and over and over and over. You get the idea. So when I heard that Kubrick and Stephen King were coming together to make my favorite Stephen King book at the time into a novel, I mean, I don't know how many times I read over that Halloran speech to pretty cool. I was stoked. How stoked was I? I was pretty stoked. Yeah. Anyway, then I went to see it. I was really excited because I was going to get to see the creepy topiary scenes, because in the book that was pretty big, and the wasp sequence, which was huge in the book, and that the subtle nuance portrayal of Jack Torrance as he slowly goes from loving father to a psychopath. So I was a little freaked out to find that the chosen Jack Nicholson in the role of The Shining as Torrance. I love Nicholson, and he is a great madman, but he's not the greatest straight man, if you know what I mean. Let's take this into a less dimly lit room. Back in a second. So the news that they'd chosen Jack Nicholson to play Torrance was disconcerting, because Nicholson wasn't exactly known for subtlety in movie roles. Let's face it, Nicholson is very much an explosion in your face. That sounded so wrong. But we're going to go with it anyway, you know what I mean. When Nicholson was chosen as the Joker, yeah, everybody could see that one. But Jack Nicholson as Jack Torrance, well, they shared the same first name. So I went, without any trepidation, because after all, this was Kubrick, and Kubrick could do no wrong. just a little over 2 hours later, I came out entertained, very entertained. But I also learned something that I hadn't known before I went in to watch The Shining. Kubrick can do wrong. Kubrick can do a hell of a lot of wrong, and so can King. But here's the thing. Kubrick movie was entertaining. It was fun, but it wasn't The Shining. It was Stanley Kubrick's movie with a slight resemblance to the Stephen King book, and Kubrick's name and ideas put all over it. That's what it was. It was not The Shining. I was waiting to see The Shining made, and I was hoping that one day they will remake it, and I will be enthralled. I will be excited. I will be happy. I will be. One day they'll do it right. So, years go by, and little Aaron becomes, God, what? Everything I say is coming around tonight. Anyway, I grow up. I get older. And on TV, the announcement comes. The Shining. Stephen King's The Shining. Written by Stephen King. A mini-series. So you're actually going to get into the depth of the characters. And you get Steven Weber. That's an unusual choice. I mean, this is the guy from Wings now. But I do like Steven Weber. So I can kind of see that. It kind of reminds me of what the character of Jack Torrance would be like in the book. So that's pretty cool. And then we get Rebecca De Mornay, who we know from Hand That Rocks the Cradle, of course. And it's sexy. Rebecca De Mornay is sexy. And nothing wrong with Shelley Duvall. But let's face it, the Kubrick version of The Shining was misogynist wet dream. And Shelley Duvall's character was probably one of the worst female characters ever put into a horror film. She does her job admirably, but the job that she has to do is painful. And if you've ever watched the documentaries on the Shining DVD, the Kubrick Shining DVD, you know that he put her through hell. She didn't have to be scared of Jack Torrance. She was scared of the guy behind the camera. And that's what Kubrick did. He wanted her to be scared of it. Yeah. So Rebecca De Mornay casted as Wendy Torrance. I'm there for it. And then the kid. Now I like the kid in the original Shining. He actually did a really good job. I gotta say, I was never once thought, hey, this kid doesn't have what it takes. He was good. And he helped to make the movie, because I actually feared for the child in the Kubrick version of The Shining. There was just a creepiness about him, too. I can't put my finger on it. And now the kid from the miniseries. I'm going to be trying to be kind here. But let me put it to you this way. Did you notice Shelley Duvall in the original Shining? You kind of think the kid in the new Shining he could have been Shelley Duvall's kid? Just putting it out there. Not being cruel, just saying it like it is. Anyway, the movie finally arrives, the miniseries. It's gonna come on. I'm excited. I get extra snacks. I got my pop. I got my chips. I got my Twizzlers, because it's like a movie thing. I've got to have my Twizzlers, and I'm ready for The Shining. I'm so ready. I'm so stoked. It's It's an event. This is a two-part miniseries event. I am ready. 4 hours of like, finally done the way that it should be. So I sit down. I open up my chips. I get ready to put on the kettle to have my tea. And then it starts. And when it does, well, that's in part 2. It's time for tea. See you on the Horror Globe for the second part of this.